Okay, so this may be a little bit ranty. I don't know. I feel kind of like in a ranty kind of mood, like, "Rah." um, but has been more quiet. Like, it's almost 8, and it's still quiet over there. There was a little bit of noise yesterday, but nothing like last week or the week before, the week before. So big difference. I don't know what's going on, but something. But I have a bunch of things I wanted to say. So one thing, when I got up this morning, there was a whole bunch of comments on the TikTok for the things I had put out there about the halo. And so I will say, like, a lot of people, oh, that's just totally normal. Well, that's always up there. I've seen that a lot of times. So somebody who said, oh, I saw that once a long time ago. People saying, oh, that's if you live in a humid place, that happens. All sorts of stuff. But a lot of people who look at it like me, like, what the fuck is going on? This is something weird. And why are they so busily spraying? Like, I watched them. Like, I kept hearing the planes. And so I looked up to try and see if I could see what kind of planes. It was nonstop going. And then when I finally saw one, or when I looked up to see, then I saw the halo again, and I was like, what the hell? Because I didn't even think this was the real sun today. And the last time when I had seen it, I was like, oh, this is a real sun. So this halo thing must be what they're trying to hide, why we don't have a real sun over here or something. Like, there must be something about that with the real sun and the halo. And I don't know. All I can think of is like the firmament or something, because there really is no outer space. Everything is like being in an ocean and not moving like in water. It is atmospheric, but it's not like air like this. And like a baby could live in umbilical fluid, but it is all in the frequency. So I just think when you say that stuff, people just imagine it's just going to be like an ocean or something. But like the sun is plasma. Everything is. It's just energy. It's just vibration and frequency. So anyways, something is changing in our thing. And it has to do with us, our energy. And it has to do with something with what we're putting out. Because this is like a hologram. This is an illusion, and it is being held together. But it's us that's breaking free from the false reality to start to see the truth and then build and restructure a new reality. So this thing is all part of that, I believe. And but I saw these people saying all different things, and so many people are in such denial, and they go straight to a textbook, and just funny enough, there's another girl on a TikTok who's always showing sky stuff too, and so she goes on, there's a few, the sky ones, they go on and look at mine, and, little little comments back and forth. And so yesterday she was out picking up her kid, and I guess it was the last day of school, or it's the last week or something where she's at. And all the kids were coming out throwing their books away. They were just throwing away all the textbooks. See? I mean, what they put in there is constantly, it's fluid. It is, they tell us like, oh, they got to get new textbooks. Why? How is the information changing? Just like, oh, suddenly kids don't know how to write cursive anymore. Now they want to change the grading system. They want to make it more lenient for Black people. That's what they were breaking when I was in school. That's why they started busing. It's so ridiculous. God damn. But, people don't pay any attention. I just saw a guy who was today saying this whole thing with them, making children a problem and old people a problem. It's the cycle of life they're interfering with. And it is all a part of the process. Stick an old person in a nursing home, they have nothing to say because they hold the history. They hold the truth. Because we've gone through some shit, and we've seen some shit, and we've learned some shit. But they don't want the younger people to have that knowledge because they are in control. So it's all a part of this shift. It's all a part of seeing the truth. And so these people who sit there and try and make sense of it, especially when you go into a textbook. Textbook's only valid that year. Like a fucking Encyclopedia Britannica that my mom was trying to make me memorize or something when I was a kid. Every fucking question you go look it up in the... We paid a lot of money for those encyclopedias. Go look it up. Like everything. Go. The Encyclopedia Britannica holds the truth. They're obsolete. You could say that and people wouldn't even know what the fuck you're talking about. So, I mean, just like the internet is always changing. And then look at how Google is in control of our knowledge, and to the point where they can let you see certain things and other people not. It's weird. So anyways, it's a very controlled world that we're living in, but everything is being exposed to us, which is breaking it all apart. And even if it's in segments all over the place, it's like a windshield that has got all the whole planet inside of it. And we're all throwing stones at the same windshield. It's cracking, breaking all over the place. It's all going to open up. The floodgates will open up. But it's just, it is that percentage. It is that amount of people. It's that energy that we have to get to. So that's why it's valid or important to keep trying to wake people up, not putting pressure on them and, going at them because this is all ego stuff. But just keep talking about stuff. Like, that's what I do, is I just keep talking about stuff. And I don't, like, when the bullies come in and start trying to tell me, I don't argue with them. I'm going to point out that you're a bully and you're judging me. I actually had somebody tell me to stop reading the Bible. Like, what are you talking about? Like, people don't even realize how judgmental and how ignorant that they are. So I just pointed out, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to argue with somebody. I'm not going to be in high school and sit there and go to the elementary school and argue with the fourth grader. I'll go argue with some more high school students. Like, I don't have time for it. But so, there's a lot of those kind of people who are still out there. Oh, and then plus the ones who just try and, leave an emoji like you're an idiot, like that hand smack in the face stuff. Like, oh my God, some of the people are just... It's just so funny because they're trying to make like you're ignorant, but they're showing their ignorance and they don't even know it. But anyways, there was a couple people who said something about, it's called a sun dog or a raw dog or something. They kept saying, well, you can look it up. It's on YouTube. Something about, there was some stuff that some YouTube person, I guess, was talking about with the halos and what it means. So I haven't looked it up yet because I just saw it this morning. And I've been talking to people and I've been more interested in going and doing this because my brain gets so clogged up. It's like, I gotta hurry. I gotta go get this stuff out before. So anyways, he was sitting there saying that, this other person, he came and he said, so that this is the Narubu thing. Like what I was saying the other day, like the thing I was seeing before, it looked a lot further away. It was like really big and kind of greenish looking. When I looked at the sky, it looked like a green kind of shadow in the sky. And when I was taking pictures, people would just be, oh, that's just a sun. That's just this. That's a lens flare and stuff like that. I was like, no, it's not. You can look and see the damn thing. So it looked like a big green shadow, but it was not above me. It was like out. So, I don't know. With a movement or something, like everything is moving, but it's not like, the globe spinning and we're out in space and this thing is headed for us. So I don't know, but this guy was saying, so it's Narubu and it's gotten so close that they had to it's blocked out the real sun, but I have seen the real sun. But so it blocked out the real sun. So that's why they're using this fake sun. And this guy, the stuff he was saying, it made sense, but I have seen the sun, but also, it's not like in the placements that we think. So, and it doesn't have the rotation like what they told us and stuff. So, I don't know, maybe it's certain places that they know it's going to be that close. So then they roll in the fake sun. Maybe that's why we've had a fake sun so long and why we've been living in this white cloud atmosphere for so long. Because yesterday I watched them. So as soon as I looked up and I saw the halo. I started doing footage, and then I kept seeing planes, and they were just going, like passing each other. But there was no chemtrail. There just kept being planes. And I kept thinking, well, my eyes are really, really killing me. Like, and Stella is so bad. Like, you can tell when they spray stuff. You can just tell. Like, you just get sicker and sicker feeling. Like, so I've got so much pain in my body right now, my eyes. And now I've started even doing things like just trying to make sure. It's so funny. Because when I was a kid, I taught myself how to use both hands, because it was like, at school, when they said, when they were testing us right-handed, left-handed, and then they came up with this ambidextrous people who could use both. It was like, I'm jealous. I want to do both. So I taught myself how to do both. And the same with my legs. Because I kept thinking if you broke one of those, you'd need the other one. But then it ends up being the part that I didn't do that with the brain, because you can't really, they got me with the brain thing. They only had one of them. I couldn't do this practicing. But anyways, before I went off on that story, what the fuck was I talking about? Was I still talking about the sky? Oh, I was talking about my eyes. So yeah, I've been practicing doing stuff with my eyes closed, like I think I could get around my whole house, like by that whole thing, measuring steps and, just counting steps. And like I'll reach in and I've been learning how to do a lot of things with my fingers, like, and using other senses. And I was just thinking about this morning, because I put on all of these like water scenes and like the ocean and rivers and stuff. Because I was thinking that the thing I would miss the most is being able to see nature. But then I was thinking, oh, it's funny, because I've been putting these into my head when I watch these, and I have these visuals that are going into my head. So even if I were to lose my visual sight, then I would still have my inner sight that would show me the same scenes that I love, because I've spent so much time looking at them. And then plus you imprint them into there so that you can pull them back up when you want to see them. So they would be there always, but I just wouldn't be seeing them with these eyes. But anyways, I was just thinking about that today, because because my eye, I mean, when you're faced with going blind every day, you think about it a little bit. So, and I swear to God, I thought we would have had these med beds by now. I thought we would have been so many things by now. I thought that we would be done with the banks by now. I just don't get it. And they're pulling up all the more celebrities now coming out with their Barbara. This is what you need to do. Just because I have private security that follows me, you guys don't need to worry. You just need to give up anything. You don't need to be protected from anybody. It's like, what the hell? People who can't hire private security do need to protect themselves from. It's like, what the hell? You like, get on our level before you want to speak down to us and tell us how to be. You're not a fucking elite little royal bitch because your ego is so full. Like, come on. But anyways, as annoying as it is, the funny thing is when you go in and read the comments, and then even the comments that are the most like calling them out, thousands and thousands of likes. Like, if you were a celebrity and you went on and, who knows, they just go and spout shit off. Or if they go in and read this stuff and see, because they seem to be completely oblivious to real life. Like, they don't have a fucking clue what's going on in the world. It has no effect on them. And if it's affecting us, well, you guys are just eaters and breeders. You're not up here with us. So it is just, but they're totally being called out. Like, these people, and they're losing fans right and left. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You read the comments and they're just like, oh my God, I can't believe I used to like you. And the depth stuff too. I saw so many videos yesterday. People like doing little videos like, oh yeah, Johnny. Like, I guess he won or something. So they're all just like really getting so excited. And I did a video. I was like, oh my God, you really need to pay attention to who you support in this world. because that is definitely one person I have heard some really, really bad stuff about. And these people, I say, when you find out the truth, there won't be enough soap to be able to scrub that dirt off of you. You're going to feel it in your soul. Like, I can't believe I was supporting somebody who ate babies and liked to enjoyed the ceremonies leading up to the feast, you know? And there's certain people who do. And yeah, things are so much worse than what people heard about with Weinstein or Kevin Spacey. Like, and they were so outraged by that. Well, you just wait. And that is one thing too, is so many people losing their accounts and stuff. And they're talking about the same stuff we were talking about in 2020. We were losing our accounts then over the same stuff. And they're still talking about it. But it's new information to them. And they're just as outraged as all of us when we saw the information. You know, and you just got to let them be, let them process, let them see it, let them, you know, go through it. And it is good that there is more of them and they have more support. You know, like for some of us, it was, you know, a pretty hard time to start telling people what's going on. And they, you know, you were just attacked. Now they're being attacked, and but it's by such a few amount of people. They don't even know. That's the same thing as like an older person to a younger person. You don't even know. So anyways, it's just part of the process, and we got to get there. And I was talking to one of my daughters this morning. She's so outraged. She's so outraged. And, you know, I think I've mentioned it before where she works. And, you know, my deep, deep concerns with this organization and how they have been has been made public, their involvement with the traffic situation. And they're right down there at the border. They've even got a little hotel set up. So they're very involved. And I told her, like, I don't know, it was 2020 or 2021. I was like, you need to be careful. This is so out in the public. Like, somebody could come in there and just start shooting this place up, which she's not in that part of the office, but that's still possible because that is friggin', I mean, they're on high, you know, they're going to town on that one. You know, they mean to take those things away from people. They are not. There's more yesterday. They're going to do them every day. They would start doing them every hour if they have to. They'll just start doing them every single store if they have to. You know, I mean, it's crazy, but it's them, you know, they're two birds, one stone situation all the time. So they don't care. They're just like the easy way. Let's just kill a bunch of them and then keep getting them outraged. So the ones left are so scared that they're going to be taken out next that they'll do whatever we say. That's how this place works. That's what hell is like. So, anyway, so she was so outraged because, you know, she works with the homeless and then the drug situation. Like, she's the one who tells me all of the stuff going on where they're finding all of these dead people off the fentanyl in the mornings, and it's really horrible. And the amount of homeless growing and growing. But so she works in like a place where poor people can live right before you go to the tent. They can't even keep them in there. Like, they're just not even giving people shelter. And she was just talking about so much of the bullshit. And one of the things too is to keep in mind that everybody, whatever energy you're putting out, and this is what I'm talking about, like with the exposure, the negative energy that people are putting out. And because you notice that people keep talking about this, like, this horrible boss they have, this horrible person running this and stuff, and the hypocrisy and the evilness and all of the stuff that they talk about, because it's all being exposed. The truth is being shown. It doesn't matter if it's the mailman stealing packages or it's the neighbor who goes out and shoots cats or whatever. It's all being exposed. Everything in everybody is being exposed. And it's not just the government. It is this cycle. It is an event. It is a changing of the ages. So everything comes to the surface. And what comes to the surface for you is your opportunity to work it out, because there's a lot of things that people do that are shitty that they don't even realize. Like, this is an awakening to the truth. So, and it all depends on your own ego work of what you can handle, you know? Like, can you handle the seeing the truth about yourself? Because all it takes is just cleaning. It is cleaning the house. But I saw this girl yesterday, and she was talking, and she's like, I don't know, some sort of energy healer, hell, whatever. There's so many spiritual things now where people have, you know, they do this and that, and they can do this and that, whatever. And so she was doing a whole little post about how to process when you're going through something. So it was just her sitting there crying and then saying the stuff. I think probably, you know, I mean, some people maybe need to be shown, like, when stuff comes up, cry and release it, let it go. And, you know, we're in this processing mode because we're shifting and things are happening in your life to help you bring up what you need to process. So all of that is happening naturally. You know, I mean, I think that it is good for some people. I mean, she wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't going to be helping some people. And everybody's at different levels of their understanding, you know. So, you know, she may be a good person to follow for some people, that goes in and she, you know, diagrams, shows how to do some of the stuff, because it is a huge process. We're going through huge changes. But these people who are putting out this negative, you know, vibration, this, you know, trying to fuck people over, being evil, whatever, all of the different things, that energy that they're putting out is going to come back on them. So whatever energy you're putting out, then that energy is when this shift happens, which it's gonna happen. It is, and it's gonna be abrupt when it happens. Like, we're slowly getting in, but it's building up. But just like a wave crashes, when it crashes, it goes fast. And that is what this is going to be like energetically. It's like this tsunami crash. And we're the ones creating it. It's our energy. So, you know, it's slow, but it's building. But it's going to crash. And then that flipping to go back the other way, the wave goes, and then it flips to go back. That is when it comes back, when the energy comes back to you, everything you've been putting out. So if you've been putting out hatefulness, all that hatefulness is going to come back on you. And that's going to be a lot to heal. It's going to be hard. There's going to be some heavy shit for people. Because I know some people that are doing some shit that I wouldn't want to be on the other side when that comes back. And that's why I try and say, you got to be mindful of what you're putting out there right now. And there's a lot of people who are just putting out hateful, bully bullshit, you know. And it's going to come back. It's going to come back and hit them. It's going to knock them down, some people. And it is the process of picking yourself up, learning to love yourself and accept yourself. Because as long as you're going out and shooting bullets at everybody and trying to control everybody and make your reality what is for everybody, then you are putting out a certain energy, you know. And that energy is going to, it'll come back and flatten your ass. And so it is really important to be really mindful. And so I know it doesn't help a lot of people who are going through some shit with some people who are very aggressive and doing shitty things. And it's very frustrating to deal with those people, which is going to become more and more frustrating because it's part of the process, because it's kind of isolating them from us. It's kind of like that split in the two realities, you know. And to get into the other reality where it's more positive and upbeat, where people are more concerned about how they treat others and stuff like that, you have to do a lot of healing. You have to put yourself into that mindset. And there's no way to get into an acceptance of others until you can learn to accept yourself. It's vital to learn to accept yourself, because once you accept yourself and you understand yourself on that level, and you can see yourself in a loving manner, and you have an understanding that this is all about learning, and you release judgment on yourself, you release it on everybody else. You begin to see yourself and everybody else. You begin to feel love for everybody. You feel love for yourself. You feel love for everybody. It's all part of the thing. But see, you can't do any of that if you're holding on to anger, resentment, attachment. People attached to this world, trying to make sense of it, pulling out the textbooks. Oh, see right here, the scientist said this. Oh. So it's all part of the process. And when this wave comes back and gives you back what you've been putting out, there's some people who have been putting out so much nasty, negative bullshit. And I don't know. I mean, it's going to take a lot to heal from some of this stuff. I don't know if everybody can do it. I think that there's a reason why I've been hearing for years there's going to be a mass amount of suicide when this happens, like a mass amount. So I don't know. I've even heard Trump say something about that. Or maybe it was the letter. I don't know. I've heard it a lot of times, though, even in the spiritual thing. And yesterday I saw this guy. When you go through TikTok, as you go through them, they'll just, there'll be somebody live. And he was talking about something that caught my ear. So I went in and started listening, and he started talking. He was telling a story about this. Oh, he was telling a story about this woman. He was talking about like all of the different ways, I guess, people come at God through religion, spiritual, whatever, all the different ways that people approach their connection to this world, right? Or the spiritual side of themselves or whatever. And so he was saying that not very often does he hear, he's been hearing a lot of people who say they're Christian turn to spirituality and start to question Christianity, and starting to see like, oh, I'm not worshiping who and what I think I'm worshiping, am I? And, it's all in the whatever, their weird shit that they do. The way they turn things to be the opposite of what they are. So it's weird, but everything that is, we see as positive is negative, and negative is positive, all this weird shit. So, but that's part of the flip. That's part of when it comes back. So, he said that he had been seeing a lot of people who have been switching over to spirituality, but he said, I am not seeing very many switch to Christianity from spirituality, but he said, I have seen this woman, and he was telling this long story about her, and he said that, and then he started talking about the fake spiritual, like what I'm always talking about, like this dime store version, like, oh, you just get your crystals and meditate, and wear a t-shirt that says I meditate every day or something like that, and call yourself spiritual. It's like, that's not what it's about. This isn't a trend. This is a way of life. This is a way of healing. This is a way of, it's just different than what those people are trying to say that it is. It's an actual connection to the world around you. Like, he was also talking about somebody asking something about his, is instinct the same as being psychic? And he said, yeah, and I'm totally agree. That's what I say. I feel like I've got this really tightness in my chest. And my nose has been running and stuff. Like, this is where they get people to feel like that they're sick. I keep getting this like wheeze. And this is like this weird weather, and it just is, I don't know. I'm sick of being a lab rat, I'll tell you that. Anyways, so he was saying that, that he does think that's true. And that's why I was saying, like, I agree. And because I think it is your awareness to the other side. It's just so many people have been cut off from that side of themselves. They've been indoctrinated into believing that this world is the only world and it's real, so that they don't give this any mind. They don't pay any attention to it, so they don't think it exists. But, this spiritual side is what's real. And when you cross over and you start going into the supernatural way of being, then you start connecting to all of that stuff. You know, I just have always done it, so it hasn't seemed hard to me. I just feel like I'm really super fortunate that I was able to hear him talking to me so clearly, because I just don't know, you know, how people don't hear it. Like, I don't know how they don't recognize that there's people talking to them in their head, how they just come up with it. It's just their thoughts. Like, it's so trippy to just wonder, like, what goes on in people's minds? How do they process things? Because even like, if I said I'm feeling super scared about something or whatever, and then if somebody could go inside of my body and then come out and say, oh, that feeling you're feeling, I call that anxious. I call that anxiety, or I call that melancholy, or whatever. Like, we all have such a different way of understanding, expressing, processing. And that is what this thing in our head is all about. You know, just like when I got my brain injury and it affected my memory so much, it messed up that part of my brain. But that part of my brain is where I was processing memory. Because even when I talked about memory before, remember I was talking about that girl, this woman, and she was asking a question because her daughter even drew a whole picture, a diagram, how memory works. And she had like a whole file system, this whole machine, and she has a name for the machine, and she could tell her how the machine worked and everything and how her memory worked. And she had a really good memory. Well, I always had a really good memory, and that is what I saw too. I could see the mechanics behind. Like, I would want to think of something, and I would tell my mind what I wanted to think of, and it would go through, and I could see the files. I could see it all going, da, 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 and go over, find the file, pull it out, and give me the information. Like, I can totally understand how it worked. And just like that kid. And then when I got my brain injury and I broke that part, you know, but I feel like, you know, you keep developing more roadways. Like, they find other ways to, even when things get broken in your brain. Like, I always do the word puzzles and stuff like that. You just got to keep your brain functioning so it develops more. Like, I would be reading more books, even when I would get like, when I would try and read them, I couldn't remember who the characters were. Like, next day, you know, I'd go start reading it and be like, who the hell are they talking about? What did he do? What happened? You know, so it kind of got frustrating. But now with my eyes, it's so hard just to read a text or a comment. Sometimes I don't even think I can really see what they really say. I need magnifying glass. Because even if I put on my reading glasses, which I think they're 2.75, like, I could probably go get a 3.50, but when you magnify everything and then you take it away, it really puts you like, so sometimes I don't just put on my glasses all the time because it messes with more stuff and it makes it harder. And then you take them off and you see way worse. And then you get a headache and stuff. So I don't know. I feel like today I just need to put dark glasses on. My eyes hurt so bad. So, oh, it's that airplane. I thought it was about to start thundering. These airplanes, it's so weird. And then everything is just so weird. I'm so sick of it. But I do think there is, I don't know, there's something weird with that sun halo and the way that they spend so much time spraying it like that. Like, I watched them spray it. They just went over and over and over it, and you couldn't see anything at first. And then there started being like this really light haze over it, where I started looking like, oh, it looks kind of like this really light little like clouds or something, like really, really light. And then it kept building and building. That's why I said, I think that one comes and sprays something, then one sprays over that one, and they just build up the chemical. Like, in chemistry, add this and add this and add this and add this, and what happens? So I know that whatever we're fumigated with is really toxic. Like, I know that for sure. Like, I can just watch Stella. I can just tune into my own body and realize it, you know? So, but I watched him do that, and then it became that white atmosphere again. And it was weird too, because everything became white after it spread enough, and then you couldn't see the thing anymore. So they were definitely trying to cover it, because that's right where they went. They started all of it. They weren't all over the place. No, they were right over that thing, and then it spread out. And there was like a little hole for a second, and it peeked through, and it definitely was white with the blue light and round lens. So, like I said again, like, I don't know if they are just putting different colors over it to try and, I don't know. We'd have to know what all their technology is, and all of their purpose behind it. Like, if they think that we would just panic, like, from them telling us the truth, that there's a cataclysmic event coming, and instead of just letting people work on their, telling them something's happening so that they can work on themselves and elevate themselves to be prepared for it. Like, I don't know, really, it doesn't make sense why, but they just want to kill most of us. So they want most of us to die. So I don't know. But there is definitely something to that thing. It was, even the other day when I saw it, which to me is like, okay, I don't know, because if it was a planet thing, so then how would it just be in one? It would have to be in just one place. It wouldn't just follow the sun around. So it would have to be someplace, and then they're trying to cover it. Or is it the artificial light just keeps showing rings? Like, is it just showing something? Is the whole firmament, but it's just it can only light up so much space around the sun. So it's the whole firmament really purple, and, like, I don't know. I don't know what is going on. I just say, just keep looking at things and keep questioning them and keep trying to see through the illusion, because everything is an illusion, and it is all ending. This whole thing will be going away, and I don't get the whole thing with this giant. It looks like a giant bruise with this gold outline going around it. Like, it's really weird, and I don't know how many people can see it in their town if they just keep spraying, like they spray before it comes in so you can't see it or something. Like, I don't even know how I've got to see it twice. And, I feel like it's important to document it. It's just weird when these people come at you and say, oh, that's completely normal. Well, why the hell have I never seen it before then? If that's completely normal. I've always been a sun worshiper. I've always gone outside and laid in the sun. I always had a bad reputation of that. Like, I think I would have noticed if there was a giant bruise. And one guy even was sitting there telling me, when I was like, I had to lay on the ground, I still couldn't get the whole thing in the camera lens. There was still out on the part. So he starts explaining to me about lenses and stuff. You're missing my point, dude. This thing's so big, I can't get it in the camera. That's what I'm trying to say. The thing is giant. I'm not looking for what lenses can I buy so that I can get the full thing. I'm saying this fucking thing is big. It's huge. And the sun looked tiny, if whatever that light source thing is. So I don't know. I don't know about it. All we can do is just keep asking the questions. But I'm serious about, you got to be mindful of what you're putting out, because what these people are putting out that I keep hearing all these stories about is going to come back, and everything is going to turn the other way, and all the energy that you've been putting out, negative, hateful, whatever, this kindness and generosity, that will come back as well. Everything you put out will come back. And so I would be putting out kindness and generosity and loving and all of that stuff. I would definitely not be, putting out negativity or being mean to people. Even if they give you a great opportunity, it's best to not be hateful. That's my advice. So, anyways, I don't know. I just felt like it looks really dark in here today. But I have the lights on. That's weird. It feels really dark, but it's just my eyes. I don't know. But I probably was going to come back and say some more stuff because I just feel like my brain is so full. I feel like it's so full. I can't think of all of the things I was going to say. But anyways, I'll just end that here. So have a great day and I'll talk to you later. Bye.